Do you know the story of Madeline O'Malley? She was the woman that died here in the hotel. She hung herself after her fiancé stood her up on their wedding day. And ever since then, people have reported seeing the ghost of Madeline O'Malley roaming the hallways waiting for her lover.
What the flick, everybody? Ben, Matt, Christy, and Alonso. This is a horror week.
It is.
The Innkeepers. This was surprising, and I've just learned something else. I just looked it up seconds before we started.
Thank God.
A piece of information.
Crucial.
One of the key stars of the movie, big star from the 80s, I didn't even recognize.
Yeah. We'll get to her eventually. Sarah Paxton and Pat Healy star as a couple of young slacker hotel employees who are stuck minding this old historic hotel on the final weekend before it shuts down for good. It has a history of hauntings, and they're bored and just sit around and get drunk and talk and look for ghosts, and it's kind of fun. Take a look.
This is our last weekend open, so we've got to find some proof that Madeline O'Malley really exists before this place closes down.
I have my microphone so we can make do with EVP investigations.
Did you hear that?
Hang on.
Under a blanket of blue.
So yeah, this is sort of a languid, kind of low-key, kind of lean, stripped-down retro horror movie. And I had fun, I liked it.
Yeah, it takes a long time to have any horror.
And when it does come at you, it's not like gratuitous, screechy, needless.
No.
horror.
And, did you see Ty West's first film, House of the Dead?
No.
Because that one was very, like, perfectly 80s flavored, like, in terms of getting the decor and the makeup and the hair and the cars and everything. Like it is shot like you would watch it and think it was made in 1983, and it definitely has a very slow burn and kind of makes you wait for the payoffs. But in retrospect, you realize how much stuff he was setting up.
Yeah.
During what seemed like just sort of languid periods. And he kind of does the same thing here. It's actually, it starts out more of a comedy, really.
Yeah, it's funny.
You know, the two of them are kind of playing pranks on each other, and it's very kind of, my partner Dave said that it was like the cast of Clerks plays Ghostbusters.
That's cute.
You know, and so yeah, it's very that kind of, you know, deadpan humor, but at the same time they're sort of like giving you little nuggets of information that later on are going to be like, are going to make things more terrifying.
Right.
So I like this movie a lot.
I love that they did take the time to actually develop their characters, right?
Sure.
Which is so rare in a horror movie. Usually they're just targets, you know, you
Yeah.
just guess who's going to get picked off next. But you'd want to hang out with these people, and they're funny, they're slackers, they're bored, they're weird. I like the little trip that Sarah Paxton takes to the coffee house.
I was going to say Lena Headey as the barista.
Lena Dunham is
Lena Dunham, right.
from Tiny Furniture is the totally self-centered barista, which is very funny. And the person you did not recognize,
Yeah, man.
Kelly McGillis.
Yeah.
Is one of the last guests at the hotel, who is this surly former TV star, but she knows more about the occult,
spirit world.
the occult than you might expect. So she looks different.
I didn't recognize her at all.
Yeah.
I mean, and I saw the movie this morning. I didn't recognize.
She didn't take your breath away?
She was very good.
That was a Top Gun joke.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well done. She was really good. Everybody was good. You know, what I had trouble getting into it with was this sort of, and they became less quirky and more real as there was time to develop these characters. But I find myself being frustrated with characters that are so in so many small movies that are so quirky and so oddball.
Like it's become a cliche.
Like it's become a cliche that there's no one normal, whatever the hell that is. But
There's no boring people.
There's no boring people. There's no even interesting people in sort of normal, acceptable ways. Everybody is so quirky and they look like they don't bathe.
Is that true here, do you think?
Here in this office, yes.
Yeah, here on this table.
Yeah.
No, but do you think that the
I
characters in this
did
movie
for
were
some time,
Okay.
and then sort of as it went on, and more and more horror didn't happen, and there was more and more setup, and we got to know them better. Then I sort of thought, oh well, maybe I could be friends with
Yeah.
particularly with her.
I'd hang out with them.
Yeah, and then they sort of normalized, for lack of a better word, throughout the movie, and then I started getting more into it, and then and then the horror came.
Yeah, no, I liked her a lot. She's kind of tomboyish, but I don't know, I'm sure that no one watching this right now has seen Aquamarine. But she was the mermaid in Aquamarine with Emma Roberts, and she was just beautiful. The
I'm
hair
sure
and
the
the
Emma
makeup.
Roberts completists out there.
Right,
are,
right.
Oh,
it's,
yes,
it's
her.
possible. But just to see that she has all this different stuff in her as she gets older. Also, she went to my high school, El Camino Real High School in Woodland Hills, California, home of the Conquistadors. As did McLovin, as did Brad Garrett.
Wow.
It's a good little setup there at El Camino. So, but yeah, I liked it. I was surprised how much I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, this is now his second film, and Ty West is definitely like a filmmaker whose future stuff I will be excited to see.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting and thoughtful, and it gets better, I thought, as it moves along.
And they shot it at the actual place, the actual Yankee Pedlar Inn in Torrington, Connecticut, which is where he stayed.
Where they all stayed while they were making
Right.
House of the Dead, and
Right.
apparently there was all this creepy stuff happening,
Right.
so we thought, well, I'm just going to make a movie here.
So they actually shot pretty much all of it in this 1891 old historic New England inn.
But it's still open. It's not shutting down.
It is not haunted or shutting down.
All right, Christy, you gave it the highest
There
score.
are drunk kids there. I gave it a 7.4. I have no memory. Seriously,
We are going to have to
I
start.
write it here and it goes
We're
down
going to have to
there.
start memorizing the scores. You undermine your credibility when you don't know your score.
I've done that a
Math is
long
hard.
time ago. Math is
You
hard.
gave it 7.2.
7.2. I remembered a 7.2.
All right, I gave it a 6.8. The overall score
I give it a 0.
7 points.
Oh,
Shut
I know.
up.
You're dragging us down.
What's it at Rotten Tomatoes?
It is at 78%
Yeah.
on the tomato meter.
And
People like it.
our score is 7.1. So go see The Innkeepers.
Bye.